Happy Sabbath, church. How are you? Very good. So I have the task to give a 10 minutes presentation, a little bit about eating. I know when it comes about eating and dressing, we kind of are on a different opinion. I just want to ask you to be kind to me. I'm going to break a lot of shocking news to you, but all this is with a purpose of really worshiping the Lord. Did you know that you can actually worship God with what you eat and what you drink? Yeah, indeed. And that this talk is to empower women, to empower other women, and empower the world. So what is happening here? Can anybody guess? Somebody is fueling a car. Maybe you think she's looking at the prices, but actually she fueled the car with diesel. Who has ever done that? Mercy. Oh, I see one hand. All right, yeah. And what happens if you put the wrong fuel in your machine, in your car? What happens? I see people are smiling or shaking heads. All right, yeah, that can be the end of the world for that car, right? Sometimes, if you're lucky, they might actually repair the engine. But what happens with our body when we put a wrong food? Miss Elena, don't go there. I used to have a preceptor. He used to say to his patients, when would you like to go to ICU, now or later? And so all the patients were looking like, I don't want to go to ICU. He said, exactly. The way you're living your life, you're going to end up there. So I'm asking you, do you want to go straight so we can repair you? Do you want to take some time until you get to ICU? We don't want to go to ICU. So in order not to go to, and if we don't fuel our machines with the right food, we're going to end up there. Yeah. But there is a good news. We haven't put as yet the diesel in our engine. We're doing it very, very slowly. So there is a time that we can actually stop and think about it. So have you ever paid your health debt? Every time when we say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to eat healthy. I'm just not going to sleep. I don't have time. Or I'm just not going to walk because I'm tired. Work is killing me. Or I'm just too stressed. We are kind of taking a little bit of a credit from your health. Have you ever heard that concept? And who pays their health credit? Who pays it back? Who exercises extra? Who sleeps extra? Who eats healthier extra? Nobody. So what happens when you keep on taking from your health, credit, and you're going on credit on overdraft? And then the collections are coming, this is what happens. And unfortunately, we end up where we don't want to go. So every time you can have a choice what to eat and what not to eat, you are kind of deciding if I'm going to be in debt or I'm going to be in health. Who wants to stay in health? Who doesn't like the debts and the creditors and collectors? Yeah, we have enough stress from, the financial field in this world. We better don't have it with health. So whatever we do, eat or drink, we have to do it in order to glorify our God. I think I can speak so bravely about it because my mom was having an autoimmune disease, and she had been on bedridden for 8 years. So bedridden for 8 years, the doctor signed her off. They said she will never make it. Her first husband leaves her, marries somebody else, and my grandparents took care of her. She wasn't able to chew, wasn't able to blink, she wasn't even able to breathe, until they found a person that started treating her with fruits, vegetables. I know it by heart, my patients are tired of this. Fruit, vegetables, grains, green sprouts, seeds, nuts. And, and they started giving her those good foods. And my mom, within a year, started feeling much better. And then after 2 years, so she has been bedbound for 7 years. And then in a year and a half, my mom was able to, chew, blink. She was able to open her eyes, which was impossible for her. And she recovered. After that, she met my dad, and then she had me, and then she had my sister, and nobody would ever believe that she can resurrect. And how did she do that? Wait. Fruits, vegetables, grains, green sprouts, seeds, nuts, okay? She did it the right way. And of course, a lot of water. Andrew, help me here. All right, so every day we take around 35,000 decisions. Did you know that you have to make so many decisions? And around 200 to 300 of them are related to food and water. Ha, surprise. So we do have quite a lot of a saying when we are supposed to eat something. Is it going to be this? Is it going to be that? Is it going to be inflammatory? Is it going to be anti-inflammatory? Come on, right? Now let's say no to inflammatory foods. Nourish with intention. Fill your plate with you know what? It's easy for me to say it because my mom brought me like that. I never tasted a chocolate. Maybe I tasted a chocolate when I was 11 years old. So if I see a chocolate, I would just pass by it. When patients bring donuts in the break room, I call them do not. Just do not. I see the box, I open the box, I smell, I close the box, I was like, do not, can stay there. It doesn't come so difficult for me. But of course, there are other things that challenge me, for example. And the more you do it, the easier it gets. If you give me something, Oreos, for example, there is no even taste to it. My receptors are not working. But if you give me something juicy, like fruity, from vegetable, I love it. I forgot to put that picture, but I live with a 2-year-old child that loves fruits and vegetables, and when she goes to the supermarket, she goes directly to the broccoli section. Start chewing on broccoli. Anybody that can relate to that? And then the shop assistant says, like, do you know what's that? She said, yes, broccoli. Well, it takes some time to change your, receptor buds in order to love those foods. But broccoli nowadays is the most anti-cancerous food you can eat. It has the most sulforaphane in it. So if you know somebody, if you have those breaking news in your life, broccoli is the way to go, literally. So water is not optional. We are how many percent water? 60%. 73% of water is our heart and our brain. 83% of our bodies are our lungs of water. So if you have problems with your lungs, if you have migraines, there's so many diseases that we can overcome, even joint pains, with drinking water, as simple as that. Well, it is not easy to make a change, but we don't want to end up in ICU, right? And we want to actually uplift the Lord and live a good life in His name. We want to bring everything into worship to God. Okay, talking a little bit about this. Is that delicious to you or not? Because it's not delicious to me, but I need to know if it's delicious to you. We're looking at that and like, yeah. Nowadays, we're discovering that chicken is not superior to red meat. Why we don't eat red meat? Because of cancer. Direct link with cancer, colorectal cancer, prostate cancer, breast cancer. And so many people go towards chicken. Chicken is a better alternative, they say. Yes or no? Did you know that chicken, unfortunately, it's the richest food on arachidonic acid, which is a kind of a fancy scientific word for omega-6 acids. So if you really want to be sick, that's the food to eat. It has a ratio between omega-3 and omega-6, 1 to 14. And a healthy food is 1 to 1. So beef goes like 1 to 9. And yeah, and those are your inflammatory foods. Fruits, vegetables, grains, green sprouts, seeds, nuts, all are like 1 to 1. So do you understand where I'm going with that? What's the fuel that the Lord is giving us? So here are some studies, if you think that I'm making it up, that it is actually considered cancerogenic. And what Dr. Eddie Ramirez used to say, he used to say, There are more bacteria in a chicken than in a toilet seat. Yeah, I'm sorry to break those news. And why is that? It is why chicken needs to be always cooked. Why don't we have raw sushi, raw chicken? Why don't we eat that? Because it has a lot of Campylobacter, a lot of Salmonella, a lot of E. coli. And most of my patients that come with urinary tract infections, when I ask them, do you eat chicken? They're like, yes, every day. And those difficult to treat. And so when I touch the chicken and I explain to them that chicken are actually treated with a lot of antibiotics, yeah, because otherwise they have so much bacteria, patients are like, nobody has ever told me that. And of course, they start fighting over me, but here I have some science, it's not me saying it. It's the World Health Organization consider it cancerogenic. And not only that, you can see amines and other, even the heme iron is dangerous. And so chicken can never be served raw because of the bacteria. And in order to get rid of the bacteria, you have to heat it up. But by the time you heat it up above 70 degrees Celsius, then you're getting the cancerogenic component. So how healthy is it? You choose bacteria over cancer, kind of. And then the rice. I know rice is like the favorite food on the island. Whoever loves rice, please forgive me. It's a white rice. It's not a whole grain. It's a refined rice. You kind of remove what's good from the rice, and then you kind of get the full starch, full sugar straight into your bloodstream. And if you eat white rice and you don't have diabetes, that's okay. But you have to bring more fiber on board. Rice with beans. When I tell my patients, please eat more beans, they're like, oh no, just don't ask me to do that. Everything else. Now, cholesterol. Does chicken have cholesterol? So we are animals, and if we are animals, we produce cholesterol. And what happens when we take the cholesterol from other animals? We have more. We have an excess. And what's actually cholesterol? I know it's a fancy word that we like, cholesterol. Your cholesterol is high. Well, your cholesterol is high. Okay, what is a cholesterol? Actually, in order the fat to flow through your blood, the body needs to produce a soaping agent. Because if you have fat, the fat doesn't really flow through the arteries. It's going to block it. But water flows through it. And so how do you mix water and oil? You put with a soap, you kind of make them together, right? And this is what the body produces. It produces soap, so the blood and the fat can flow together through your arteries. And the more fat you eat, the more soap it's producing, which at the end, when you wash a dish, a plate with soap, and you don't rinse it, what it happens? It stays on it. So if you constantly have fat, and the body constantly produces this soaping agent, and it's like you're not washing it with water, what happens? It just gets stuck to the vessels, and then we know what happens. Cardiac attack, and a stroke, and so on. Okay, I'm going forward, but you can use fruits and vegetables also to do good things to yourself, not only from inside, but outside. I had a retreat with the church in which we started treating the local community with fruits and vegetables. We called our place pharmacy, treating them with plants, with, maybe we can do some massages and facials over here with, I'm aware, I'm finishing. We can pamper ourselves in godly manner. And one Bible verse in Romans actually says, therefore, brothers and sisters, in view of the mercies of God, I urge you to present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true worship. We actually can worship God with what we eat and how we drink. Amen.